Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here on Friday the 25th of January. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Remember, we're kept free of charge by the adverts you see around the screen. So by you coming back, using the adverts, using the site, that's what keeps us free of charge. And when you click on an advert, it generates revenue for us, or when you go through and use the charts, that's what generates revenue. So thank you for doing that. Okay, so another snowy one outside. I'm going to put a slightly more technical video on about one or two of the problems that we've got forecasting this situation. So that'll be available elsewhere on the site under the featured channel. But for now, let's concentrate on what's going on as far as snowfall's concerned during the course of today. This is the chart from 6 o'clock this morning. You can see the mass of rain and snow that was out towards the west of the country at that time, and as I run through the sequence you'll notice that slipping its way eastwards into this afternoon. That's the position at 6 o'clock this evening. Heavy rain having fallen across parts of southwest England, rain and snow across Wales, snow mainly across northwest England but turning to rain, snow across central and southern Scotland, but rain out towards the west. Now the problem is that you notice how close together the ice bars are here. That means the winds are going to be strengthening, and as that feature moves into northern England and into the Midlands during the course of this evening through the rush hour period, snow could become heavy within this area here. Now that could cause some real problems for transport if you are looking at travelling during that time this evening, anywhere up to about 9-10 o'clock this evening in that region. You must take precautions in the car with you, which includes warm clothing, drinks, food, a shovel and fully charged mobile phone. These could be very serious conditions through those areas during the course of this evening. And then overnight tonight, well, that's the position at midnight. Look, I think what will happen is that the sleet and snow will gradually turn to rain in the west, but all of this out towards this sort of area here is probably going to be falling as snow. Significant totals are going to be coming down, although I think by the morning most of it clears eastwards. Low pressure then to the west of Scotland tomorrow, breezy day with quite a brisk westerly wind, outbreaks of rain coming into the west, and really this is the start of the introduction of the milder weather. But of course, because the ground's so cold, it's not going to warm up particularly that quickly. So although there'll be some sort of thaw, it's not going to be a rapid one. But I do think that because of the amount of rain that comes down tonight, and combined with a thaw tomorrow, we could see some localised flooding in places. Certainly lots of standing water on the roads to be careful of. And then what we find through tomorrow night and overnight to Sunday is another series of fronts moving their way eastwards, taking strong winds and some heavy rain with them as well. That's probably the mild weather proper getting in during the course of Sunday, although still feeling cold in the south and the east, because the ground will be so cold because of that lying snow, and there could still be snow around by then. Then excuse me, into Monday, low pressure stays with us. We go into a southwesterly flow, we become milder, and it's the turn of Scotland and Ireland to see most of the rain. And then we just left with this southwesterly flow through the early part of next week. It brings periods of rain, it brings periods of low pressure towards the north of the country, and we just find outbreaks of rain passing their way eastwards during the course of the week. So it looks as if it is going to become quite a wet one. Now this is how we see the snow depths through until about 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can see most of it here is centred across southern Scotland, northern parts of England. It's really, it's kind of this area here that causes us most concern, because it's in there where the forecast is uncertain, but it could be some very heavy rain in there, particularly in this area here, where we could see most of the rain, some very heavy snow I should have said in there, and that's where we could see the worst of the problems during this evening. Now then, this is the 7 to 10 day mean of the 500 millibar flow. I've been showing you this over the last few days. Best chart to get a handle on how things develop. ECMWF on the left, we've got the GFS on the right there. Now you notice the ECMWF has got this jet stream coming straight across the Atlantic, look through the British Isles, which hints that conditions are going to be unsettled and changeable through the UK. Also on the GFS as well, it's showing that on there. What it's not picking up on so much today was the ridge that was being picked up on across the pole yesterday, but it's still something that we need to watch for. It's broken it down today, but there are still the signs there of a ridge being in there, and that's that ridge in there. So I don't think this one necessarily has got it quite right, but what we are going to find is as that mass of cold air digs in to the eastern parts of the states, this trough is going to strengthen, and I think that will push a ridge north into this sort of area in the Atlantic, bringing a return to the cooler weather around about the beginning part of February. Now temperatures, I'll come back to that. This is how the GFS sees temperatures. This is the ensemble. I think probably got it about right. Look, we've got this mild period coming in here during the early part of next week, but then look what happens. Temperatures go back down again. So we're into this cool to cold spell again. Very similar to the early part of January, where we're unsettled, we've got rain at times, and generally conditions are fairly cool and it's fairly dull. I suppose the only saving grace is that now at least the evenings are getting lighter, aren't they, and the mornings are lighter earlier, so it won't seem quite so dull, but still it is going to be feeling on the cool side. Now, showed you this chart briefly as well. This is total rainfall. Something else that we've got to be aware of is that there could be some very wet conditions around during the next week. This is the rainfall up till the 2nd of February, and so that's Saturday the 2nd of February, and just look at these rainfall totals affecting western parts of the country. That's 100 to 150 millimetres of rain. That's the potential for 4 to 6 inches of rain. Now what's happening here is it's the rain that's hitting the westward facing slopes, so of course those western slopes are always wetter anyway, but it just shows how wet these western places could be. Further east, you'll notice that the rainfall totals are much lower, around about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of rain expected within that area. And what else was I going to show you? Just this one very briefly. This is the snow change chart, just to reiterate this business with the snow that's going to be occurring in the next 24 hours. This is the amount of snow falling or thawing up till midnight tonight, and you can see it's this main area here that we're concerned with, particularly in northern parts of England where most of the snow is going to be falling. But these look are 6 to 10 excuse me, centimetres of snow falling through the main conurbations of the Midlands, and potentially 10 to 15 centimetres of snow across the conurbations of northern England. It's something that we need to be watching. Incidentally, the blue colours here and here showing a thaw taking place. Okay, so just to reiterate that snow map again, and also to say to you, please be careful if you're travelling this evening. Once again, the Midlands and northern England particularly affected. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget, we're kept free of charge by the adverts you see around the screen and by you coming back and using the site. So thank you for doing that, and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.